The condo resurgence in Tampa Bay still hasn't hit. I'm predicting that it will. Financing is still the biggest barrier for the resurgence of condos. It's interesting because historically in Tampa Bay, you see condos trail the comparable price of a similar sized single family home in a certain area. Back in the peak, it was probably about 10% off. So if you had a single family home that was worth $250, a condo of the same size would probably be in the 220, 230 range. Well, what's going on right now is we're seeing condos in some neighborhoods a third of the value of single family homes in that neighborhood, and the biggest reason for that is financing. The Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all the mortgage lenders made it more challenging because private mortgage insurance pulled out of the state of Florida. They've slowly but surely come back in, but it's still a challenge to get condos financed. And while some of the banks have changed their policies and guidelines, consumers have gotten so used to how stifling it is for condos that they've avoided them. And I think that's devalued them. So if you're an investor looking for a great opportunity, I have a firm belief that condos are the most undervalued type of property in Tampa Bay right now. It's something that I look at every single day because I know that not only a lot of the condos you can make great cash flow, but I believe that they're going to rise in value. And I wanted to talk, since we have Laura here from Home Warranties of America, and we're talking about condos and kind of the difference between condos and single family homes. From a home warranty perspective, I would assume you got some different challenges with the condo because there's not as much per se of the property that a consumer should be concerned with. So, is there a cost difference, and not only that, but are some of the things that are that you notice in condos that are maybe more prevalent in terms of damages or issues that the home warranties can take care of?
So yes, obviously they are less. All of our condo warranties are under $450. That's the big Mac Daddy Diamond program. Covers everything. Would be only $450. So, and that's for 13 months. But yeah, condos. Everybody thinks, oh well, they are taken care of. They're kind of in with everybody else. But I had a recent agent that called up for one of her clients and said, we're so glad that we have the home warranty. We thought that everything was brand new. It was a rehab. It was totally gutted and redone, and they moved in and the garbage disposal wasn't working.
And here's the other thing. The other thing about condos, and again, if you're listening to the show right now and you're not from Tampa Bay, right? You're from somewhere else. You're here on vacation. You're here for the holiday, whatever, or you have a property here that you own that you visit, from time to time. That's another place the home warranty makes a big difference for those non-local, those owners that aren't here every day, because when something goes wrong, it's a whole lot easier to make one phone call than it is to chase 27 people on Craigslist to figure out who can come out and fix your window. The other thing about condos are that some of the things that home warranties cover are, especially if you're someone that isn't there as often, but your property is really at the mercy of other consumers, other people that live in the building, other neighbors. You can have some of the leak type things. Some of that stuff that you're not as likely to get in a single family home from your neighbor ahead of you doing something stupid.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's the other side of the home warranty game, for condos. And Linda, from a staging perspective, thinking about condos, again, you're obviously selling a different type of lifestyle, a different type of property. I would assume, again, same thing. You're looking at who that target demographic is, and you're approaching the staging of that property to kind of highlight what that community offers.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you a cool story. We just did an industrial urban kind of condo
I
down
love
the Channel
those.
side,
Very
and
cool.
the whole concrete, everything, and that was such a cool thing to do. It had been on the market for 6 months. We staged it, sold within 2 weeks. So that's cool. Yeah, and again, that's also what sets us apart from other stagers. We have very unique staging products.
You're not using the same crap in every house.
Not,
You're not taking one to the other.
We don't do Happy Meal staging.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
Happy
awesome.
Meal stage, right?
I love the Happy Meal staging.
Yeah,
That's
we
awesome.
don't do that.
Speaking of the urban thing, we sold a house last year, for $1.3 million. It was out on Reddington, very urban, very green home. And what's interesting, since we sold that, and we did a video about it. My kid is actually in the video, which is pretty cool. But so we did a video about it, and we did really well. The house sold. He had it listed with lots of other agents. But it's interesting because the seller was from California, and he built it very California style. And he's a builder, and he has now started to build other homes. But what was interesting is when he built it, there was no urban option in Tampa. You didn't see urban homes or urban townhomes, or you saw the condos, but you didn't see the homes and townhomes.
Right.
So it's interesting, as I've started paying attention, I'm starting to see a lot more of it. And if you travel out west at all, and I tend to think that a lot of things happen out west and they kind of work their way here. They happen in Beverly Hills, and all the celebrities get this cool stuff, and then a year or two later we get it. But what's interesting about the urban construction is that I was seeing urban construction 5 and 10 years ago in Los Angeles, and now when I would travel out there, and now it's coming here. You drive around Southampton, you see some of these urban type designs starting to hit, and I'm excited for it because it's something that we're so used to seeing the general Mediterranean. Everyone's got one of those, and now you're seeing the the white, tall window, polished concrete floor, flat roof type, tank looking like houses, and I think it's neat because it's just and the other side of it, they build them to be very efficient. They build them to be much more efficient. But I'm excited to see some of the changes in architecture that really kind of started out west. So condominiums, I saw an article about this. A condominium, if you don't know what it is, a condominium is basically like a developer that owns a marina, and he sells the individual dock spaces just like you would a condo, right? Mm-hmm. And a few years ago, when the market crashed, these things went away, but they're starting to make their way back. And it's funny because it's a gray area about whether that's considered real estate. You're renting a spot for your boat. Is it something realtor should be involved with? Like, I get it if the boat slip or the dock is attached to a real property, but we actually had somebody contact us this week, and I'm researching it now about how they wanted to. This is what they wanted to do. They wanted to buy a marina, and they wanted to hire a real estate broker to condominium it, and
wow.
It's kind of interesting. And I don't know. I could see the demand in like a South Florida, but I don't know if that'll work in Tampa. I'm kind of on the fence whether there'll be people that will really pay for that versus just paying a monthly maintenance fee to another marina. Like, does owning that make sense? From a perspective of, I get if it's got, I get some aspect of it. Maybe owning it makes sense versus paying the rent over a certain period of time. But can you finance it? Can you? It just seems like I'm just concerned about whether or not that'll do well here. I can see it doing well in South Florida. I'm not so sure here.
How do you transfer rights to that?
I know, right? That's the other thing. I mean, literally, the guy that called me is multimillionaire. He's got plenty of money, but he said, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a marina. I want to know if I can do this. Can you help me?" Then obviously we're reaching out to our legal people and working on getting answers for him. But it was one of those scenarios where I didn't really know the answer. And it's pretty uncommon for somebody to call and me not to know an answer. But so I placed some calls to some friends down in South Florida, and apparently it's very normal there. They sell them all the time.
Wow.
It's just It's odd to me, right? Isn't it? Like, yeah, we're gonna condo out a marina.
It could be
a dock-a-minium.
brilliant. Jump in.
Yeah, you never know. It could be, or it could crash and burn, and you could lose a fortune.